Welcome back. All right, 5 more games to review. If you're looking for a review of the first 2 games, that is already on the channel. That video is already there. So we're going to start things off taking a look at the Edmonton Oilers in New York against the Rangers. Skinner versus Shesterkin. There's an early Rangers power play. That was killed off. 1 shot on net for the Rangers there. But Berard has a net feed that's picked off. We get a power play for the Oilers. That's killed off as well. Zibanejad can't bury one from the doorstep. The shots are 2 apiece halfway through the period. The Oilers go back to the power play. That was killed off. It had some chances. There were definitely chances there, but it's still scoreless. Arvidsson to Podkolzin. That chance gets blocked. Fox has a net drive chance that's held. Carrick then has a rush chance that's kicked aside on a 3-on-2. With 1:07 left, the Oilers get their 3rd power play, and you can't give them 3 power plays in the same period. They score on this one. Perry with a backhand and close at 19:18 from Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins. So for Leon Draisaitl, his point-scoring streak's up to 18 games. And that makes it 1-0 Oilers after 1. Second period, the Rangers press at 2.5 minutes. Shots are 2-0 Oilers, though, 3 minutes in. The Oilers press at 4.5 minutes, and then at 4:59, the Rangers would tie it. It's Cooley bearing a loose puck in close. Trocheck and Panarin with the assists, so we have a 1-1 draw. Oilers look to respond. There's a delay game call. Gives the Oilers their 4th power play. That's killed off. The Rangers clear it after it's done. That would end the power play portion of the Oilers game. The Oilers press with 9 minutes left. Brodzinski has a rush chance. That's saved. We get a power play for the Rangers. That's killed off as well. Then there's a post for Kreider on a net drive. The Rangers press with 2.5 minutes left, but it's 1-1 after 2. Third period, early press by the Oilers. The Oilers are controlling, but the Rangers are blocking the net. There's only 1 shot on net 3 minutes in, and that's for the Oilers. Nurse has a shot that's caught and held. McDavid fires one wide. It's really all Oilers at this point. And then at 6:09, Arvidsson roofs one on a 3-on-2 rush. Nugent-Hopkins with the assist, and so it's a 2-1 lead for Edmonton. Rangers press at 7.5 minutes. Shots are 4-3 Oilers at 8.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Rangers. That's killed off. A net feed to Kapanen gets blocked. And then at 16:35, McDavid wires one from the slot on zone entry. The assist to Nugent-Hopkins and Kulak. So for Nugent-Hopkins, that's 3 assists in the game. Goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. Whatever the Rangers had in mind does not work. The Oilers win this one 3-1. They go to 39-24-4 with the win. Pull themselves closer to first place Vegas. The Rangers, I should say, 33-29-6 with the loss. Shots on net, 10-7 Oilers in the first, 8-6 Rangers in the second. Both teams had 7 shots in the third. Final shots, 23-22 Edmonton. Power plays, the Oilers 1 for 4, the Rangers 0 for 3. The hits, 18-17 Rangers. Skinner, 21 saves on 22 shots. Shesterkin, 20 saves on 23 shots. All right, next up. The Florida Panthers and the New York Islanders. This game was bonkers. So, Vanacek versus Sorokin, and this was the return of Mike Riley. Nice to see him back in action with the Islanders. Early press by those Islanders. Palmieri fires one high in a rush. The shots are 2-0 for the Islanders 5 minutes in. Islanders press at 6 minutes. There's a near miss by Holmstrom. It's all Islanders at this point. In fact, they draw a power play. Florida does kill that off. Fasching has a net drive chance that's blocked. The Panthers press with 9 minutes left. Horvat then has a rush chance that's held. With 7 minutes left, the shots are 8-1 for the Islanders. And spoiler alert, Florida doesn't have a shot the rest of the way. There's a near miss for Boquist on a net drive. The Panthers press with 3 minutes left, but with 2:34 left, the Islanders get a power play. That's killed off. It is scoreless after the first. Second period, and this is where we find out Kulikov hadn't returned. I don't think he came back in the game. The funny thing is, he gets injured on a play where he was given a penalty, but he was clearly shaken up on the play and he did not return to the game. But a minute in, Florida opens the scoring. Reinhardt, it's off a turnover and it's buried. Barkov and Forsling with the assists. The teams then trade rushes. We get a power play for Florida. There's a shorthanded Palmieri chance that's fired wide. And just before the power play is over, Barkov scores at 4:46 from Reinhardt and Luostarinen, and this puck just bounces in off Barkov and then into the net. So it might be a bit of a fluke, but hey, you take it, and Barkov was in the exact right place, and so it's 2-0 Florida at that point in the second period. The Islanders press at 6.5 minutes. The shots are 6 apiece at 9 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. Things get pushy on a hold by Sorokin. Engvall fires one high on a rush. The Panthers press with 2 minutes left. Verhaeghe's denied on a 3-on-2 rush. And with 12.5 seconds left, the Panthers have a power play. So, it's 2-0 Florida after 2. They have a power play rolling into the third period. There's a shorthanded breakaway for Pajot early in the third. That's saved. The Islanders do finish the kill. Pressed by New York at 2.5 minutes. There's a penalty that's drawn by the Islanders, and that's killed off by Florida. Shots are 4-3 in favor of the Islanders at 6 minutes, and then at 6:29, Gatcombe opens the scoring for the Islanders to make it 2-1 for Florida. D'Angelo and Engvall with the assists. Reinhart then has a rush chance that's saved. The fans call one, the referee does not. And at 12:16, Siplikov buries one on a fast break. Riley and D'Angelo with the assists. And then 17 seconds later, it's a turnover, and Dobson scores from Lee. So at 12:33, all of a sudden, we have a 3-2 lead for the New York Islanders. Absolutely shocking, got to be honest. Net feed to Palmieri misses. Goalie pull happens with 2:10 left. Sorokin denies Reinhart. Reinhart didn't get a lot on it either, but Sorokin was right there. And then Holmstrom hits the empty net from Pajot at 19:53. So Florida's all around it, but in the end, the Islanders win this one 4-2. They go to 30, 28, and 8. They needed this win. Florida 41, 24, and 3 with the loss. Tampa and Toronto are very happy with the way this game turned out. Shots on net, 12-1 Islanders in the first, 10-9 Islanders in the second, 14-12 Florida in the third. Final shots 34-24 in favor of the Islanders. Power plays, Florida 1 for 2, the Islanders 0 for 3. The hits, 27-22 Florida. Vanacek saves 30 out of 33. Sorokin 22 saves on 24 shots. All right, Anaheim and St. Louis. Dostal versus Binnington. It was Shen's 1000th. It's one of those games where the app was about a minute ahead of what I was watching on TV. Man, that's distracting. The NHL app is telling me what's going to happen in the game, and it happens with certain feeds. And it is distracting because I'm like, I don't need to necessarily watch this. I know nobody scores. So the Ducks have a 3-on-2 that's broken up and then goes the other way, and St. Louis scores. It's Shen. So they had the 1000th game ceremony for him before the game, and he gets a goal right away. Holloway and Kyrou with the assist at 41 seconds. And then at 1:30 seconds on their third shot, St. Louis scores again. Buchnevich taps one in. Fowler and Neighbors with the assists. 2-0 St. Louis, and we're not even 2 minutes into the game yet. Blues press at 3 minutes. There's a post for Kyrou on a 3-on-1 rush. The shots are 6-1 for the Blues at 6.5 minutes. The Ducks press with 5.5 minutes left. We had a fight between Trouba and Shen, meaning he was 2/3 of the way to a Gordie Howe hat trick. Ducks come out of that with a power play, however. That is killed off. 4 shots on net for the Ducks there. 4.4 seconds left. The Blues get a power play. So it's 2-0 Blues after 1. And they have a power play rolling into the second period. The Ducks do finish the kill. The Ducks then get their own power play. Zellweger has a net drive chance that's saved. That power play is killed off. The shots are only one apiece, 7 minutes in. The Blues would draw a power play, and they score on it. At 8:19, Holloway roofs a tic-tac-toe play. He scores that one from Falk and Kyrou. So the Blues have a 3-0 lead. Ducks press to respond, and they would. At 10:06, Gauthier buries a rebound. Gudis and McTavish with the assists. It's now 3-1 in favor of the Blues. Ducks press with 8 minutes left. Zellweger's denied. The Blues rush. Blues get pinned down a little bit. They block the net. And then at 15:39, on a rebound and close, Radek Faksa scores from Toropchenko and Walker. We then get a power play for the Ducks not too long after. And at 18 minutes and 10 seconds, St. Louis scores shorthanded. Matthew Joseph goes blocker side on a rush. And then the Blues finish the kill. So coming out of the second period, the score is 5-1 in favor of the St. Louis Blues. Third period, Carlson has a shot that's kicked aside, and then at 2:23, it's a double deflection that gets Anaheim their second goal of the game. Nestorenko from Gauthier and McTavish, so no chance on that one for Binnington. Shots are 3-2 for the Blues at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for St. Louis, and they score on it at 6:18. Neighbors rifles one from the slot. The assists from Kyrou and Falk. The Blues press at the half. We get another power play for St. Louis. They score on this one as well at 12:19. It's Sundqvist from Bolduc and Thomas. And by my count, Braden Shen didn't get an actual assist in this game. So he was 2/3 of a Gordie Howe hat trick. Didn't get the assist. We get a power play for the Ducks. That becomes 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. Your final score is 7-2. So the no mercy magnets on the board for this one. The Blues go to 33, 28, and 7 with the win. The Ducks 29, 31, and 7 on the season. Shots on net 10-7 in favor of St. Louis in the first, 11-4 for Anaheim in the second, 12-7 St. Louis in the third. Final shots 26-25 for the Blues. Power plays Anaheim 0 for 4, St. Louis 3 for 5. The hits 25-17 for St. Louis. Dostal saves 9 out of 14. Husso saves 10 out of 12. Binnington saves 23 out of 25 in the victory. All right, moving along. Utah in Vancouver against the Canucks. So it's Vejmelka versus Lankinen. Early press by Utah. Hughes has a rush chance that's blocked out. The only shot on net is Utah's 4 minutes in. I've watched some of the post-game stuff with this one too. I might have some thoughts. So delay a game. Utah gets a power play. Things get pushy on a hold by Lankinen. That power play ends up being killed off. Good forechecking by Utah. Things get pushy on a hold by Vejmelka. The Canucks press at 8.5 minutes, but the shots are 6-2 for Utah with 8.5 minutes left. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Hughes has a screenshot that saved. Kerfoot fires one wide on a rush. The Canucks press with 2 minutes left. With 44.8 seconds left, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. It's scoreless after the first. Second period, Utah scores. It's waved off for goalie interference. Not long after, Vancouver gets a power play. And at 2:37, Hughes with one that goes past the screen and deflects in. Pettersson and DeBrusk with the assists, and that's Elias Pettersson with the assist on that one. So it's 1-0 Vancouver. Shots are 2-1 Utah, though, at 4.5 minutes. Joshua to Garland near miss. Utah presses at 8.5 minutes. The teams trade rushes, and then at 12:06, Stenlund ties the game. He scores from Bukestad and Carconi. Utah presses with 5.5 minutes left. The Canucks get pinned down a bit. They block the net pretty well. Utah was controlling this game late in the second period. So it's 1-1 after 2. It didn't feel like a tie game. Third period. Early Canucks power play. That's killed off. Garland has a wrister that's held. The shots are 1 apiece at 4 minutes. At 5:07, on a rebound, Cooley scores to make it 2-1. Schmaltz and Dursey with the assists on that one. Things get pushy then on a hold by Vejmelka. Gunther has a rush chance that's held. We get a 4-minute power play for the Canucks. There's a Pettersson wrister that's held. Apparently there were 4 shots on this 4-minute power play. I don't recall anything overly dangerous, but that is killed off. No room for the Canucks 5-on-5. Utah presses with 3 minutes left. And then I think it was Myers that was just holding the puck in his own zone and looking because there was nowhere to go. There was nowhere up the ice for the Canucks to go. And they don't have the creativity to get their way through that kind of a defense. And it's interesting because I'll get to it when I get to the Winnipeg game. But going back and forth between games really does show me a lot about how a team's playing. And what's frustrating with watching the Canucks is knowing they have talent. And it's not a coincidence that their most creative players struggle to score in this system. It's not really, I don't think it's built for them. So Besser struggles, not a surprise. Pettersson struggles, which he's come out of, not a surprise. And watching as the Canucks just kind of stand there because they have nowhere to go, and Utah is poised, and they're smart, and they're fast, it's hard to watch. So the goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. I honestly, I didn't think there was any point pulling the goaltender, and the empty netter is Keller from Schmaltz at 19:30. And I say there's no point pulling the goaltender because I understand they scored on the power play, but I had no idea. I really didn't see them scoring 6-on-5 with how well Utah was defending. So Utah, huge 2 points for them. They're 30, 26, and 11. The Canucks 31, 25, and 11. Between now and the end of the season, they have 2 games left against Vegas. They have 2 games left against Winnipeg. And they got to win some games. It's not going to be easy. Shots on net, 10-4 Utah in the first, 7-6 Utah in the second, 9-6 Vancouver in the third. Final shots 23-19 for Utah. Power plays 0 for 1 for Utah, 1 for 4 for Vancouver. The hits 38-17 for Vancouver because Kiefer Sherwood. Vejmelka 18 saves on 19 shots. Lankinen 20 saves on 22 shots. I think it's unacceptable at this point in the season to only get 19 shots. And I understand it's the back half of a back-to-back and that second half of back-to-backs they're now 1-8. But they weren't ready. And at no point did it look like they were going to fight their way through. And it's not, I really don't think it's on the players. I really think it's the system. So there you go. But Utah now has a very good chance. So does St. Louis. These teams are both fighting their way up to try to get that playoff spot. And it could very well happen. All right, next up, Winnipeg and Seattle. So this is the difference between watching a Canucks game and watching a Winnipeg game. This is where the frustration comes in for a Canuck fan. So Comrie versus Decord. Comrie would get knocked out of the game relatively early. I believe it was just concussion protocol. He does come back into the game. So Lowry has a net feed that's picked off. Shots are one apiece at 5 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Sandberg has a wrister that's held. We get a power play for Seattle, and they score on it. At 9:58, it's Newman with his second goal, and I think both of them are power play markers. Eberle and Stevenson with the assist. The Jets look to respond. Comrie comes back into the net as well. Shots are 6-2 for the Kraken with 6.5 minutes left. The Jets press with 6 minutes left, but at 15:23 on a net drive, Asimont against his former team scores the assist to Evans and Montour. So it's 2-0 Seattle. However, at 19:43, Perfetti buries a rebound in close from Sandberg and Nemesnikov. And the Jets, you could see, started to fight their way through it as the period went along, and that goal in the last minute is key. It's now 2-1 Seattle after 1. Second period, early press by the Kraken. We get a power play for Seattle. That's killed off. 1 shot on net. Jets press at 5 minutes. The shots are 2-1 for the Kraken, 6 minutes in. Ehlers has a one-timer that misses. The teams trade turnovers. Evans has a blast that's blocked. And then on a fast break, Kyle Connor, and I love Kyle Connor's game so much, he scores from Barron at 11:42. It was a fantastic, just roofs it, and so that makes it a 2-2 tie. The Jets then look for the lead. Sandberg has a screenshot that's held. The shots are 5-3 for the Jets with 4.5 minutes left. So, going back to this game here, the Canucks did not adjust and start to find their way through Utah's defense. The Jets started to adjust to Seattle and started finding their way through Seattle's defense. And that, to me, is the big difference maker. This is why on the power rankings I very often have the Canucks lower down, because they don't make those adjustments in game often enough. So, Jets press for the lead. Yeah, shots are 5-3 Jets with 4.5 minutes left. Morrissey has a buzzer beater that's held. After 2 periods of play, it's 2-2. Third period. Jets draw a power play. That's killed off. The Jets press 4 minutes in. The Jets draw another power play. That was killed off as well. Winnipeg with some pressure after that. Shots are 4-3 for the Jets at 9.5 minutes. Newman fires one high on a rush. Lowry then has a rush chance. That's held. McCann's denied and close. Ehlers has a wraparound chance. That's saved. We are going to overtime, tied at 2. Kraken controlled early, and then an early whistle helped Comrie. Bailed him out because he didn't actually have that puck yet. But then at 1:47 from the slot, Dylan Sandberg gets an overtime. Is that his first overtime game winner? I'm going to say probably is. The assist to Cole Perfetti. Winnipeg steals one in Seattle, 3-2. They go to 46-17-4 with the win. With the overtime loss, Seattle 29-34-5 on the season. Shots on net, 8 apiece in the first, 6-5 Winnipeg in the second, 11-6 Winnipeg in the third, 2-1 Seattle in the overtime. Final shots 26-21 for Winnipeg. Power plays, Winnipeg 0 for 2, Seattle 1 for 2. The hits 37-20 for Winnipeg. So a lot of hits. They had more shots. Comrie saves 14 out of 15. Hellebuck saved 5 out of 6 in the time he was in the net. And Decord saves 23 out of 26 at the other end. So there you go. You're all caught up on tonight's action. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys once again for all your support. A long Sunday is done. Yeah, it was a lot of hockey this weekend. But at any rate, I think my brain. So usually we get that All-Star break. I'm just gonna yammer. Usually there's that All-Star break, right? Which is like a weekend, and I take like a week and go down to California and just goober around and do the goober stuff. Well, this year it was 2 weeks off for Four Nations, which was different because that was like, this isn't the All-Star game. You got to actually pay attention to what's going on and who's winning and all that. And so it's made the season for me feel longer. To me, it feels like we should be a week or two away from the end of the regular season at most. Feels like the postseason should be like next week. And I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but it feels like with all the Four Nations and everything that happened there, it's just made this season feel so much longer. And I don't know if it's just me, but there's some form of just, and I think with the lower scores too, it just feels like, okay, I'm ready for playoffs now. And that's kind of the mindset I've been in this week is, okay, I'm ready for playoffs, or the playoffs now. They're in a month. What the anyways, so all right. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe as I already said. Thanks for everything. It's greatly appreciated. Even those that are not happy about where teams are in power rankings. But this is why I watch all the hockey, because like and if you guys want, I can at the end of reviews talk about what I watched and just have a little rap session with all you fine people on the internet about my opinions on the games. Like the Oilers pulled it out today. I thought they played very well. The Islanders did not quit. I felt like Florida looked tired at points during that game. I don't know if it's tired or... Yeah, I know they've had a long... And everybody's had a rough schedule, right? The Blues just looked determined, although the Ducks looked checked out in that game too, so there's kind of a little bit of both. And I've already talked about these games. So just let me know your thoughts. Thanks for all your support, and I will talk to you again soon.